Okay, so this is the review commentary for my first stream, game 1. So as you can see, I'm playing the Shen support with the Ezreal ADC against the Ashe ADC and the Alistar support. So laning wise, we definitely have the advantage. Shen hard counters Ashe because his shield, his taunt, and his auto dodge. Now level 1 trade with the Alistar, this is really bad of me. As a Shen support, I can't really win level 1 trade while Strength of the Colossus is up against the Alistar. I just took some unnecessary poke. Look, he heals up pretty fast. So there was no communication with Trundle that he's coming down or anything. So the fact that I burned Colossus doesn't really do much for us. Level 2, because I now have Colossus and Alistar doesn't, I do go in there. But yeah, that was probably something we should have done back in the day pre-Colossus for the level 1 trade. Now, that trade right there, Ezreal did very well. And as you can see, I burned both pots here and go right onto the Ashe, exhaust her right away and go for her. This is because Alistar doesn't really have the damage, and Ashe doesn't really have the mobility that Ezreal does. So because both ADCs are at the same health, it means that I can chunk down the Ashe way faster than the Alistar can even hope to do on the Ezreal. This means that as long as I can completely make sure that I can walk up to the Ashe and do what I just did, there's no issues whatsoever. Now, I definitely should have run up faster. I should have been looking at the minimap there and saw Trundle there and that he was going in, but it would have really helped at that moment if Trundle had pinged that he wanted to engage onto that. We definitely could have had the Lux. Now, the only other thing was Ashe was coming back, so if Zac did show up, because I don't think we saw Zac anywhere yet in the video, that would have been very bad for us. So in some ways, afterwards we see that he was at top side, but at the time we couldn't have known that. So I think that was one of my main hesitations in going in. Now you'll see this, Ashe burns her flash, we will do a lot of damage there, second flash burned onto the Alistar. So I actually took the first blood. You'll see here where Trundle's about to set up. He is very good at this. So Trundle doesn't actually recall. He stays right there in the bush because Zac is topside, meaning he doesn't have to worry about a counter gank. We can go as hard in on this as we want. And Infernal's up, so we really want to get the dragon. Now, right there, I see all the CC's been used. I flash taunt in. Now, one of the things I will say is that I'm not the most mechanically adept player. There is taunt flash where you use the taunt first and then you flash, but you do have to calculate the amount of distance you have to your target, because the whole point of the taunt, and as well as you have to time it very, very carefully, because the taunt will actually go only be effective if you can actually pass through the target. But flash does that can kind of screw up sometimes. So if you can do it, you're very much welcome to do it. But at the same time, I'm not that mechanically adept, to be honest with you, and that was much safer play because I know that there was no flash up, so there's nothing to really worry about. I just needed to make sure I closed the gap and got the taunt down. Yeah, if I were Alistar, in retrospect, I probably would have held the Pulverize a little bit longer. Now, you're about to see some interesting stuff up top lane. So this Wukong is ahead, this Riven is behind. But of course, you know, Riven is Riven in 1v1 situations. So right now, I do not want to trade because Alistar has a level up on us. but I know that because Ash died, she's also going to be behind. So I know that we will hit level 5 before she will. Then, if we were to fight dead, we have the level advantage to maximize our advantages. So boom, boom, that's all we have to do there. Alright, so there's definitely a ping onto the Ashe by me. I do really want to get this Ashe so that she basically falls off the entire game. And there, like I said, I'm not the most mechanically talented player, but that doesn't matter. We just have to kill a little bit of time. Alistar goes in, but now my job isn't to actually go after the Alistar. It was just to make sure to zone off the Ashe so she can't get any damage off, and I don't have to burn my exhaust again. And then basically, instead of chasing after her futilely, and we don't see the Zac or anything anyways, my better chance was to just DPS a little bit on the Alistar on the way out. So that's one of the #1 things I do see, not just supporters, but top laners, junglers do wrong in this MMR. They go aggressive, leave their carries exposed, and go way too deep. And yeah, no, if you have a chance to just cut off safely and zone out, you're and just confirm a target, serious damage or to kill, that's a much better option than just chasing after somebody. You know, unless that person's, you know, like 16-0 and you can for sure get them out and kill them and get them out of the game. You know, that might be a little bit different situation, but yeah. So here's a pink ward here. I don't want to really go in here because I do not see the Zac. So instead I put a ward down there, up in the river, and I know that I can't really contest vision there, so we just have to be careful that Zac may lunge in. Now here I'm trading. We just had the vision there on the bush, so I know that there's at least a certain amount of time that we are safe for. And Alistar messes up his combo there. Even if he did get it off, I don't think they could have done too much because all their other CC was already used up and we are full health. Ezreal did a really good arcane shift there. That really helped out. Some people don't have the response time and they would miss that arcane shift. Now, if I'm Zac, and knowing Zac players, they want to stay right there. So we just carefully make sure that, you know, Shen going in first doesn't really matter. If Shen gets caught out, it's not too much of a big deal. And so you see Ashe burns a flash there right at the moment I actually go press the taunt. So she preemptively flashes out. Very smart move by her. Don't put it to the last second as a carry. When you're behind to flash out, just flash out her. When you know you have to anyways. Now here I'm fake recalling. Taking damage isn't really a worry for me here. Because even if Zac comes down, our 3v3 is so powerful, we don't even have to worry about it. Now here, I just taunt any target I can. And I make sure as soon as I saw that Zac that I got out of there. So I exhaust the ADC so we take less damage. Look what's really good there. I made sure that all the CC that can knock me back into the turret, because I know that's the only thing that can really damage me enough with my shield and everything and my passive to kill me. So I made sure that I only would go in after all the CC to knock me into turret is done. That's the only time I flashed out of. That's really good of me. Now here, I needed to soak up some damage for the team. I don't know if anyone would have survived had I not soaked up the damage. Although one thing I should not have done was walk out of turret range and then come back in because I thought I was taking the initial damage. That was very bad of me. That was an error, but it's okay. We won that trade really well and I soaked up a lot of damage anyways. I'm not sure if I would have survived elsewise or someone else on the team could have gone without dying, but so I don't think it could have gotten much better, to be honest. So I'm still pretty happy with that. So just coming down here, trying to get a little bit of vision control. I don't really need to hit that ward. It's dead. They aren't gonna see me. If I choose to hit it, that's when they will see me. I walk up here and I see a Zac, and Katarina is winning it hard. Now look right here. This is a really big error by my part. I should have been hovering faster, but I did not hover the alt. And Katarina, of course, you know, I'd be the same way. I'd be pretty mad if the Shen didn't ult on me for that. But I did not expect the Chilling Smite, to be honest with you. I really did not expect the Chilling Smite to come down that fast. So that was a really big miscalculation on my part. And you could see that Ashe and Alistar was there, but Ezreal was off. So if I wanted to go in, I would have had to take a lot of aggro. And not to mention, I know Zac is, you know, up on Brave side there, so I didn't really want to go there. So air drag is up. You see that Shen is a great support to actually kill this Scuttle Crab. That's one of the funny things. Shen with the taunt and the percentage health damage really kills Scuttle Crab pretty well for a support. And that's one of the things sometimes you need to do. You just gotta kill the Scuttle Crab. So we see Zac there, so we make sure to back out. Alistar gets everything onto me. So look what Trundle and I did there. I took all the damage there, and you know, Ashe combo and everything comes in. I make sure to taunt into the ADC because I understand after the initial burst is done, there's not too much more follow-up damage that can go onto the Ezreal other than from the Ashe, and so I want to CC down that Ashe anyways. Mind you, you know, Shen W, you can just W into range, but at the same time, I know Ezreal will want to Arcane Shift out, and I'd rather not have him take extra aggro than necessary, so that's one way to do it. And Ashe really at this point doesn't do any real damage to Shen at this point. And here we take the air drag. So far, more or less class, you know, just textbook plays. Top lane is doing okay against the Riven, mid lane is getting fed, bot lane is absolutely dominating, and Trundle is definitely getting off with that. And definitely this game, Trundle and I had a decent mindset, you know, together mindset, and we definitely had the synergy there. His pillars are very on point, and that definitely helps out. You'll see even later into the game. So yeah, here I just recall. And when you're recalling a Shen, it's perfect time also to make sure you're looking at the minimap. You pretty much do not have an excuse. So at this point, I'm not too concerned about just magic or just physical damage. So, and I know that with the ulti, I may have to end up split pushing or something like that happens. Now look at top lane, I see something going on. Boom. And here I see Riven has ulted. And so I ult on in case she goes backwards Q, W, or she has flash, because I don't know anything about that info and I don't have time to ask the Wukong. So just a safety ulti there. I held it until I actually had to use it. Now here, what I was thinking was, hey, let's make sure that there is no Zac, because if there is a Zac, Wukong's gonna get destroyed. So the only way that he could have been there is actually by being in the bush right at that moment, that bush behind the turret. So you know, that was the only thing I did not check, and you know, that kind of sucks because yeah, that was the only thing. So in retrospect, Zac may have actually dueled with the Riven if that was timing like that, but yeah. So Wukong gives me the friendly reminder to get out of the lane because Riven is there, but I see he's not going to TP in. And here I didn't think she was actually going to freeze it, and then I figure out she froze it, so I decided to run back to mid lane. I don't usually, you know, what I call it diddle-daddling, just idly staying in lane. This is something that you'll see a lot in bronze and silver. I don't usually do this, but here I've read the situation wrong. It's not a matter of me not trying to pull the trigger, it's just I read it wrong. And here you go, you see Trundle just going off. And at this point, the game is pretty much already set. I don't have an ulti to go on to the Wukong. I wish I did. And here, I have to make sure I walk down. And I taunt here, but we don't quite have the damage that I want to really go onto there. Because I know Zac is still roaming about. If I take more damage, it does get risky. And why not we just take the turret, the objective, and close out the game, right? So here we go. I flash in there to get the Ashe. I'm not sure I could have honestly cut off the Zac well enough. Probably. But yeah, I really wish I got the taunt off faster. Yeah, no, that was really bad misplay by me. It kind of happens when you get back from work and then you play. Sometimes your response time is a little bit slow because you're tired. Alright. So yeah, again, like I said, definitely not the most mechanically adept player. I used to be on ADC, but you know, I'm playing jungle and support because right now, post some hand injuries and stuff like that, I definitely am not the most mechanically adept anymore. I will try to hop onto ADC once in a while to just show you guys how to play ADC with a support. But, you know, the most part, I won't be playing it. And here we go. Ezreal burns the flash. And I missed a taunt there, not really critical, it was just there to be there. And here, we're gonna just take the turret and tank it. See, mid laner doesn't want to tank it, top laner takes it instead. And then I call for the second turret. Second tier 2 turret basically will open up the entire map for us anywhere. And here comes a Lux. Her poke's definitely done. And I tell them, hey, there's an Alistar there. Let's get out, make sure that the Alistar Zac combo CC is definitely big. If we get poked down first, it can really hurt our squishies. And here I was thinking, oh, Trundle's probably not going to have enough health to take the dragon. I wonder why he is doing the Gromp. He should be focusing the dragon. You know, it's not like we're like 42-5 in kills or anything. It's still throwable in this MMR for sure. But, you know, I miscalculated. His passive definitely does help him out, and his health regen's pretty good. So I see that he's taking the Inferno very well. I step back there to make sure that we can see all the wards that are placed down. Lux ulti was pretty okay for trying to do a blind steal there. I mean, there was aggro, so I guess it was entirely blind, but yeah. Here, you know, at this point in the game, I'm so tanky that basically, unless there's Riven or like 3 members of the team, including Mr. Zac and Alistar, it's pretty hard and not worthwhile for them to chase long enough to kill me. So I basically have free vision control of the map. And here you see the hard engage onto the Wukong. So Wukong here does go down. Riven is coming down. I do use a W for anyone wanting to stay in there to avoid the autos. I know my team can win that fight there. I just want to make sure to zone out the Ashe. So here I do take a fair bit of damage. I get the Ashe and I rejoin the fight. Now here, look at something. This is one thing at the key situation I did well. So with all the minions in the way, and Alistar in the way. One thing I did make sure to do was actually kind of taunt just into tower range and try taking the the turret damage, because Alistar is the last person on their team left. It's okay for me to take a little bit of damage here and make sure that Trundle doesn't die, because if Trundle dies, we can't really take the objectives there. So yeah, simple play, trade 1-for-1. That Lux kind of suicided for a kill, but you know, at this point I guess she gave up on the game. I just throw out some extra vision. Basically the enemy can only win unless we hard throw a few team fights, or if they get the Baron and they can stall long enough. So here I make sure support Shen, like I talked about, really kills Scuttlecrab pretty fast. So I make sure to place enough vision down, and yeah. So I look at the health bars. Katarina is fine. No need to worry about her down there. The Zac flew in. And the carries are just clearing the extra vision with all the vision control already set up on the map. So at this point, vision control doesn't matter so much as us just having vision. When you're really ahead, that's all that really matters. In this MMR, in higher MMR, you definitely, yeah, that's one of the big things I do notice, and I do have to work on more. You'll see I don't use my trinket enough and whatnot. Part of the reason is there's not a lot of opportunities to honestly get to. Look at how many pink wards are up on the map and where we are playing on. So there's not a huge amount of opportunity for me to use a trinket, and the enemy support is definitely not warding enough to warrant me to use a trinket. And you know, one thing I just did not understand is why it took Alistar this long to come try to ward the Baron. And I just throw an extra ward down there. I don't care if they see it, because even if they clear it, they use a lot of resources, and that doesn't matter to me. And Trundle, again, the pillars have been on point this game, and then I just go straight in. Trundle can take all the aggro he can take, and I don't really care much. Wukong gets the Lux, you know, Ribbon goes in hard, and you know, Trundle cleans that up. I see that there, and here's the thing, Trundle perfectly times the pillar with my taunt, so we make sure to get the Lux down. And here we really should have just straight taken the Baron, to be honest with you. Trundle had so much health that if I just tanked, I and Wukong just tanked the Baron, there wasn't much that Riven could really do to take it. Her ulti was done, so she didn't really have anything to steal the Baron with. And here we go, we used up the smites, so we definitely, you know, and Wukong is dead, so we definitely can't do much. Alistar is here, so is the Riven. Trundle comes back up, and Katarina's still just backdooring their base, so not backdooring, sorry, well, I guess, you know, side dooring, whatever you want to call it, for the inhib. And here we go, Ezreal rejoins us. My job here is not to try to go into that bush and chase after, but to be the cutoff man with the taunt. And there we go, close it off. Now Katarina knows that there's Zac and possibly other champions, enemy champions there. She doesn't really see the point of staying in there and risking it, so she backs smartly. And thankfully, here I go, I just make sure I destroy all the vision, and Trundle I share damage. I try to use the passive to try to tank it up, but not always 100% successful at that. Trundle definitely taking majority of the damage there, and he's still totally fine. And yeah, we basically took the Baron without taking too much damage. So here, I'm calling the dragon. There's not much else on the map we can honestly take safely. We've already taken out all the tier 2 turrets. We basically have to kill the enemy team and then do it. killing enemy teams is a lot easier with air drags because you're honestly just so much faster. So simple, easy, the enemy can't really contest. If the enemy does try contesting, it's basically at least one suicide kill if they're smart, if not way more, and it opens up the map anyways, so we have nothing to lose. So here, I know I regen up, but I just kind of wanted to take the plant. And here we are. We're starting to siege the bot lane and the mid lane at the same time. We have a 2-3 situation for the 2-lane pushing with Baron. So Trundle and Katarina, that's pretty good combo there. Trundle has has a CC and a tank, and they do too. So the enemy decides to engage onto the mid, and here we go. Even 4v5 we were totally fine because at this point the enemy had already used up all their resources. And here we go, cheekily I use a taunt to finish the game, basically finish the game here. With Riven dead, there's not much they can do in this game. So yeah, very textbook easy game. Honestly, I am pretty satisfied with the game. I definitely know I made a lot of mistakes, and I mentioned that in the video. But, you know, early game and late game, I did pretty well. That's where Shen really shines up, anyways, as a support. And, you know, mid game definitely was the bulk of where I made the mistakes. But mid game is fairly forgiving if you're very good at the early and the late game anyways in this solo queue MMR. Not always the case in higher solo queue, and you see that I got the S plus here. Anyhow, thank you very much guys. I'm actually about to upload the next video as well, so keep an eye out for that. Alright, make sure to hit that subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this. Make sure to also leave a like or dislike, and comment and share with your friends. And see you next time.